It's just naturally it's the most amount of time you're going to put into the scout and into the prep. Just growing up, it was always I had some friends that were over on the other side, and you tend to make some friendly bets and all that, and you just kind of it's a friendly rivalry when you're a kid, but now that we're here, it's all business. So.
The 2 7-footers Michigan has. What kind of challenges does that present for you and the rest of the kids on this team to contend with?
Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen that kind of combo in probably at all this year. So for us, it's going to be a test of our togetherness as a 4 and 5 man as forwards, to kind of adapt to their level of play style and their skill level with being able to shoot and the strength and power of Golden down there in the center. But I think we could cause some problems for them too with having 4 guys that can come in and continue to rotate and kind of give them different looks as well. So,
is there anyone in the last 3 years that you prepped for or played that are reminiscent of what they do with their bigs?
It's tough. I feel like some teams might have had one of their guys, but not 2 guys that one guy's 7 foot coming off ball screens, and then the other guy's 7 foot setting the screen. I feel like we haven't seen that since I've been playing here.
So when you guys have that challenge, what is maybe the biggest challenge for you guys? The coach talked about moving your feet defensively with a big.
I think moving your feet, and then also continuing to keep size on them as much as you can, and continue to kind of just do what you can to disrupt and make them uncomfortable as much as you can. Obviously, it's easier said than done for sure. But being able to put size on him and keep size on him and kind of keep a hand in his face, and as well, you're going to have to move your feet. And I think we got guys that can do that. So.
Last year, you went down there to their place. They were struggling, and the environment was not what they would have probably considered to be home about. What do you remember about that, and how much do you expect that to be different on Friday?
Yeah, it was kind of funny. I was talking to my buddies too, like last year. I don't even remember many Go Blue or anything, any of those chants really, because I felt like it was mostly green there. You knew they were struggling with a lot of stuff going on, but this is going to be a lot like a really hostile, like a Purdue, like a Illinois, like that level of intensity and that kind of environment. It's going to be loud. It's going to be a lot of trash talk. But yeah, it's going to be a lot different from last year for sure. Just holding the team and coaching and everything. So.
Sorry, it makes it a lot more fun. It sounds like, right? Against 2 teams that are, you guys are both top 15, 1-2 in the league. There's a lot riding on this.
Yeah, for sure. I think that the pressure is something that we all live for, and something we've all prepared ourselves for, and it's something you sign up when you come here. So
it's obviously a really dynamic scout when you play a team like that. What do you have to do to avoid getting sucked in or baited into bad matchups defensively?
Yeah, I think it's just being connected as a team and continuing to kind of bounce off one another, and then also just trust one another. Because I think just watching on film and stuff like that, you see a lot of mishaps with teams that they might have miscommunication and they're getting dunks or layups at the rim, stuff like that. If we minimize as much of that as possible and just continue to force them to make tough 2s and make tough threes, we're not going to lose on tough shots all game. So minimize all that and take the easy buckets.
Is this one maybe a little inside out in terms of the communication? Usually you talk about the point guards being the communication when you have bigs like that. Does it come from you guys in the back line a little bit more?
Yeah, I think it's going to be more reliant on us for sure. And it's probably going to be switched for sure. The guards got to kind of trust us more to call out sets that because he's going to be bringing the ball up. We're going to be able to probably recognize the set maybe earlier than they can because of where he is bringing the ball up. But that just goes back to kind of trusting one another and being able to have a loud voice, especially as loud as it's going to be in there. So,
Carson, this is the first time since you've been here that you guys have been really in the Big Ten race this deep into the season.
Yeah.
How different is that, and just how rewarding and whatnot is it to be in this position at this point?
Yeah, I mean it's a blessing and a curse for sure. I think that all growing up we always dream of these big games, and especially growing up in Michigan State rivalry is huge. And then also you think back to a couple years ago before I was here where Michigan State are the 2 best teams as well. So it's cool to be in this position to kind of have the opportunity to play in a game that can kind of be historical. So.
Have you talked to Paul at all? Educated him on the rivalry?
Yeah. I kind of texted in the group chat the other day, or I guess last night after the game, kind of letting the new guys know, like, we take this, like, this is really serious, and coach is going to be on a new level. Coach is going to be, really serious, really kind of more on tip than he usually is, and just to be ready for that, and you really got to lock in and can't let anything slip during practice. So.
Do you, growing up in Jackson, do you have a favorite moment growing up from this rivalry that you watched?
I can't really remember too much on the top of my head because I don't really remember. Like, I wasn't really watching basketball probably until like my senior or junior year of high school. But I do remember the battles they had back in like Trey Burke and like the Tillman ages and all that. Like those guys just battling back and forth as the two best teams in the Big Ten. So it's cool to so hopefully we can look back in a couple years from now and say we were on the team that could kind of beat Michigan and continue to win the Big Ten. So.
What can you say about just how you've been playing over the last 3-4 weeks or so, and defensively the impact you've been making? Where do you feel like you've sort of been ascending lately?
Yeah, I think after a slow, rough start early, I think I've kind of been able to get a good hang of what my role is and get a good idea on how I'm playing and playing more consistently. I think rebounding, I've kind of been able to use that as my way to get going in games and kind of understand that other things are going to come. Like I've been able to get open a lot on the lobs and stuff with the guards looking for me. But ultimately, for me, being able to let my defense do the talking and kind of just let that.
That step back, baseline step back a little.
Yeah. I've been working on that a lot. That's kind of my new go-to shot. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I mean, it looked fluid, so I mean, it felt good.
I do wonder though that you mentioned about just the way that things are for the bigs right now. Like, Coach said that you went into him and said you sucked. I mean, like,
he loves to tell me that.
What did you say? Did you told him that, or?
Well, yeah, because I think for me, being like yourself, probably one of the more mature guys in the team, and being able to kind of own up to how I'm playing, I was able to kind of see, all right, well, I'm not playing as like even that much better than I was the years before, and I know what my expectations were, and I wasn't living up to them, so I had to go to Coach and kind of get his take on things. And yeah, I told him I sucked. I wasn't playing good, and then I need to figure out how to get back. And I think probably around that Christmas break time, getting back from that is when I was able to kind of reset and get back in the mode that I should be on.
It seemed like the LA trip too really brought a lot out of that.
Yeah, I think I was able to, I kind of like playing against other good bigs because I can kind of prove myself, and then also, like I said earlier, kind of use my defense to get going. So.
Thank you.
Cool, man.
Yeah.